So, here's why I think it forked. Being one way the truth and one way the government's like, no, this is what happened. Can you imagine what would have happened if it had been made public at that time that the President of the United States, and a very young, much beloved president, very controversial, a lot of things were moving and shaking. Can you imagine what would happen if the word got out that he's dead just because one of our Secret Service agents actually shot him in the head?
Yeah.
Can you imagine not to mention just the outcry and uproar, but the American public's faith in their government and stuff like that. So obviously, let's just work on the premise that is what happened. So this is what's happened. Someone at some point, maybe more than one someone, has realised, I don't know what just happened, I saw what happened, that idiot has just accidentally shot the president in the head. We need to put the lid on this right now.
Yeah.
So they speed off to the hospital at first, and loads of reports say that the Secret Service agents were very, very overbearing and aggressive in taking control of the situation. It was very unorthodox what happened. What should have happened is he should have gone to the local hospital and then the local morgue, and they should have done the autopsy there, and everything should have been followed procedurally. What should not have happened is they should not have taken the president's body a matter of hours later back to DC and done the autopsy there. That should not have happened, but that's what happened. And several people have stated that they were trying to say to the Secret Service agents, we can't let you take this body, it's against the law. And the Secret Service agents basically were like, I will shoot you. Get out of my way, we're taking this body now. And that's all in the book. So basically, they've sped him away, and someone's whispered in someone else's ear, we need to get him away from here. The fewer people that see that wound, the better, because it cannot be known that is the round that killed him. Reason being, the round they pulled out of Governor Connolly, the shell casings they found from Lee Harvey Oswald's rifle, as we said, full metal jacket. The round that killed him was what's called a frangible round. And it is meant more for law enforcement usually, and it's meant to pack a punch. And if you hit someone with a round like that, they're not supposed to be able to walk away from it. So when it hits, instead of the full metal jacket round going through and travelling through as a projectile, it is designed to hit and then fragment and create a devastating effect, which is why the first bullet went in and just came out, and the second bullet blew the side of his head off. They straight away went into damage control because they didn't want anyone to find out that there were two different rounds, because that then obvious there's not just one shooter. And lots of things happened with that. For instance, the full metal jacket round, the rifle that Lee Harvey Oswald was using, can create a hole when it enters no smaller than 7mm. It isn't possible because that's the size of the round. It's just not possible. And that matches exactly with the entry wound of the first shot that hit him. The round belonging to the AR-15 creates a hole of 6mm in diameter, which is the size of the entry wound into the president's head. It's just not possible that Lee Harvey Oswald's round could have made that. Other things like X-rays of his head that were lost, and people were quoted as in saying it looked like a galaxy in there because of all the metal fragments from the bullet, which doesn't happen from a full metal jacket round. Loads of stuff just got lost. Now, as soon as it happened, and they took the president to the hospital, for some reason they shipped Earl Hickey straight back to Love Field Airport, where he waited the entire time until they flew back out. And that AR-15 rifle was locked up in a box. Never investigated to see if it had been shot, fired, nothing. Now, if nothing happened and he was completely innocent of any kind of wrongdoing, accidental or not, why did they squirrel him away and make him sit there? Why did they lock that gun away? And I don't think I think that I'm right in saying they didn't use that rifle after that day. Why? It was the first time they tried it. Why all of a sudden were they like, oh, we didn't like it. We're not going to use it. And then things like, they did do like an inquest and a commission into it, and things like, there were people that had photos taken from facing the book depository of the cavalcade coming round, and the timeline of the photos they took would have shown whether Lee Harvey Oswald fired that third shot or not, and could have put it to rest. I think it was called the Warren Commission, got those negatives, and they were like, we'll investigate this and it will help the investigation. During the process to make them into photos from negatives, mysteriously burned accidentally. So they are no more. A whole lot of stuff got lost. People they chose to interview, there were a list as long as all of our arms of people who were there, who were ballistics experts, who were ex-military people, who were this and that, all this stuff, and they called none of them to the stand. Some of the Secret Service agents that were right there, they called the most bizarre array of people to the stand and went off on these weird tangents that to read it, you're like, why are you investigating that? Investigate this. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So basically, all of it points to that. Sadly, it was a terrible accident, and the government, the people who were there, realised straight away, and they were like, we need to just absolutely damage control. So straight away, get rid of Earl Hickey, and the president's body went to that hospital. They're like, we need that back now. They took it basically by force, and flew it straight back. So that day, his body was flying back to DC, I guess. And I think Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in on the plane on the way over. And I think that there's been so many people over the years that have been like, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. And that the government this whole time has just been like, it's not an option. It cannot come out that one of our Secret Service agents accidentally shot the president in the back of the head. It can't come out. It will never come out.
That's a massive whoopsie.
Right? And that, like, you've got so many weird things happened that have just inadvertently, I think, contributed to these conspiracy theories. Like Lee Harvey Oswald was like, I think he was like, oh shit, I just really actually did that. Whether he thought he fired the third round or not, but regardless, he shot at the president, and I think he was like, huh. So he ran, jumped in a cab, went to a movie theatre across town, shot and killed a police officer on the way, actually, with, I think he had a pistol as well, or a revolver or something. He was arrested in a movie theatre. Where Jack Ruby comes into it is, conspiracy theorists will say, because the mafia were behind it, and Lee Harvey Oswald was the patsy, when he was caught they were scared he was going to talk, so they got Jack Ruby to kill him. Whereas really, if you look more into Jack Ruby, the way this book paints it, he was just really sad that the president, he really believed in the president and was really sad that this loser shot the president, so he was like, I'm going to get this guy.
And you look at all the footage of people just after he was shot, and everyone was absolutely devastated. People were standing in the street crying.
Gutted, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. He was so beloved, and Jackie was beloved and stuff like that, and, people were just like, how could this happen? And so many reports, like across the road from the book depository, there's a big building that used to be a sort of a prison. It was like a remand centre or something, and there were prisoners up there that were. There's reports of them telling the guards that day, there's a guy around the window of the book depository with a gun, and they were like, it's probably a Secret Service agent up there on security detail or whatever. But everything combined, all the Secret Service agents hungover, not doing their job, and they're like, when shots are fired, and Jackie Kennedy jumping out on the thing to gather up all this, it was just a massive, honestly, just a massive shit fight, I think.
I know there was some footage that I was looking at today when the motorcade first took off from the airport. There was one of the security personnel, he was going to jump on the back of JFK's Lincoln, because they've got these bars there and everything to hang on to. And he's going to jump on the back of it, and then someone else from the Secret Service says, no, go back here.
Yep,
and
exactly.
He's gone, what am I doing?
Yep, that was a big part of it too, and he talks about that in this book, and he's like, that's just another sort of moment of confusion, because they're like, well, who's going where? This is where I usually go. Because if you look in the photos of it, and you can probably, I just always want to do this trick, you can probably just put it here. There's photos in here that show, like there's a photo that shows, it's a little arrow pointing to Earl Hickey when he's like turned around hearing that first shot, and photos that show where they were holding on and where they should have been, and it just was a big old, like I said, a comedy of errors. I think it was just that many things that were in place that if one of them was missing, it would have all been all right. But it's just this huge mess, and then Jack Ruby kills bloody Lee Harvey Oswald, and it's so bold. If you see the photos of it, it's unbelievable that two lawmen, I guess, are walking Lee Harvey Oswald to his trial, and Jack Ruby just walks out and goes, bam, and just shoots him and Lee Harvey's like, shot me in the guts. And just right in front of everyone, no, I'm going to kill you.
Being let out by Captain Fritz. There is a pussy. There is Leon. He's been shot. He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been shot. There's a man with a gun. It's absolute panic.
And I was watching that, and it was such close range.
Yes.
And it was down. It was just like bang. It was right there.
There's no chance. And really, the book goes into the day that Kennedy was shot. Jack Ruby sort of lamented like all night and was like driving around and what to do sort of thing. And he kind of fancied himself as having an in with the local police force as well, because he ran a few clubs and back then you kind of needed to be. So he like took a bunch of went and ordered a bunch of sandwiches and took him down to the local police. You guys are doing a great job, here you go. So yeah, that's the conclusion he came to, is that Cuba guy has killed our beloved president. And then conspiracy theorists are like, aha, he has ties to the mafia. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.